How many years ago did Matthew graduate?
6. Oh boy. All right. What to do today? All right, everybody. Welcome to Turning Tuesday, episode number 4, I believe now. Turning Tuesday, episode number 4. We are, today's going to be a shorter one, I think. We're going to make a plate out of, not a plate, but a shallow bowl out of this nice piece of walnut here. I think we're going to go kind of small. Some good news. So if you're new around here, I have talked about the idea of doing a giveaway of the projects that we make here. And I think I figured it out. Unfortunately, it'll only be for people in the US as of right now, just because I have not figured out international shipping yet. It's a little tricky, especially with a wood product. But we will be starting the giveaway hopefully next week. And I might raffle off 2 things, the item we build now and whatever we build next week. We'll just have to see. So that is exciting. That is coming up. Trying to get this camera adjusted right. 1 second. One second. Okay, there we go. Good view of everything. So like I was saying, we figured out the giveaway. We'll be able to do it next week. I'm going to start that. So fingers crossed we'll get that started next week. And so whatever we make next week, we'll raffle off and give it away. And along with the whatever project we make tonight, I think we will also try and give away, maybe do a double giveaway. So I have been trying to start start the stream 7 p.m. Eastern time. I failed that pretty much every time. I think we've been starting 7:38, so I may just stick to 7:30 or 8 o'clock for our start time. But we'll do the giveaway towards the end of the stream. And anybody, no matter if you're watching from Twitch or YouTube, you'll be able to enter. So we'll drop a link in the comments, and yeah, you'll be able to enter to win whatever we're building that day. So I've been wanting to build a bowl that is not a bowl, but kind of more of a flat plate, really. So I've got this chunk of walnut here that we are going to... interesting. Audio's off. Whew. I wonder why it is doing that. Thank you for the heads up. I'm gonna have to... Let me check on that, because I can't hear it playing back in here, so... Could be... Let me see how it sounds here on the phone. Let me see how it sounds here on the phone. Ooh, I see what you're saying. Let me try resetting the microphone there. Okay. See if that's any better. Let me try resetting the microphone there. Okay. That is not better. See if that's any better. I'm not sure about that. Appreciate the heads up. I'm gonna have to look on that, so bear with me today. I think it may be the actual microphone. Hold on, let me check that. Unplug that. That way I'm not making a big... Huh. I think I may... Let me retry this. Plug this back in. Yeah, I think yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think yeah, let's see. That's even worse. I may have messed up this microphone. It got a bunch of dust in it. I don't know. Well, that's a bummer. Brand new microphone is not working no more. Brand new microphone is not working no more. Okay, so it's not the mic. Oh, technical difficulties, you gotta love them. So it's not the mic, it is the actual, it's something to do with the stream. I'm going to have to look into that. Apologies for the subpar audio today. There goes our ratings down. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to continue on and on to work that out. But yeah, so this week I have not gotten to any of the videos that I've been wanting to do because life has just been busy, like super busy. Just one of those weeks where you got a bunch going on and not enough time in the day, you know. Let's see, left, that's right, it's going to be left. So the videos I want to get out are behind, unfortunately. Oh, we're going to get to turning here in a minute. If you're just joining us, oh, I remember. See, I was going to turn a plate last time or some sort of lid, but the problem is this center here. I have an adapter here on the lathe because this still may go on there. Okay, that works with the adapter. That's good. So this spurred center or whatever you call it, I didn't think it would fit into with this adapter on that fits the chuck that I have, but it does fit. So we'll get to turning here in just a second. I'm going to have to take this over, trim it at the bandsaw. So let me do that. I may just keep the lights on, you know. Don't have to get too fancy with it. Let's see here. Lost my block of wood. Hope everybody else's week has been going well. It's a Tuesday here. I know Wednesday for the Australian viewers. Yeah, my week has been actually not the best, to be honest, but they can't all be great. Is that right? I hope your week is going better. Don't know if anybody's up to any projects or anything. Been doing a lot of actually house renovations and whatnot. So I've kind of slacked on the YouTube content and videos. It's unfortunate, this microphone issue. Hopefully I can resolve that in the near future. This big thing here is an air filter I made. I usually have it running, especially if I'm sanding things, to cut down the dust in the air. Because it does get quite dusty, especially sanding on the lathe. Ooh. Okay, cutting this out on the lathe. Not cutting it out on the lathe, cutting it out on the bandsaw. Safety first. Alright, we got our blank cut out. And now we could get to turning it. So we're going to be making a very shallow bowl, almost like a plate. Hope that's focused there. All sorts of technical issues today, huh? Alright. Spin this around to here. Bring in the tailstock. How's everybody's week been? I know I asked that before, but we feeling good? Having a good week? Bad week? Okay week? Can't complain? Got something to complain about? What's going on? What's going on with you? That is clogged. I know we gotta do some cleaning here. I don't think since I started doing this live stream I've cleaned up anything here. So we got a big pile of sawdust just everywhere. My dad would say clean as you go. He's a woodworker. His shop is always nice and pristine. Mine, on the other hand, not so much. Just tighten down there. It's kind of off. Well, let's see. May have to lower the speed. Yeah, I'm gonna just lower the speed on this before it's gonna be a little too fast there. So. Come on now. Currently changing the belt so we can switch the speed over. One person commented, I need a better lathe, and I do agree. However, this was something that I just kind of... This is a lathe I got for free and something I started for fun. So we'll get there. One day we'll maybe invest in a nicer lathe. But hey, this gets the job done. And I think for most people, if you get a free lathe, you're gonna do what you can with what you got, you know? Yeah, so the wooden chain, before I start turning here, that was something something I made. It was I was selling for a while these chains here, as they're like decor pieces, and that chain there was kind of like a social media thing on Instagram. So it was like, it started out just to grow a following, and then I started selling these, and every time somebody would buy these, we would donate a portion of the sales to an organization called Habitat for Humanity, and then I would add a chain to the big chain there, and you'd have a number. And I think there is 118 links in this thing here. So started out just as a fun little project, and then I kind of turned it into a little novelty chains you could buy. I don't sell them anymore. I've discontinued the project. I'd like to pick it back up one day, but it just got... Making those chains is it's a lot of work involved, and it was getting pretty old pretty quickly, and I didn't want to just keep doing something you know, just to either make money off it or just to, I didn't want to do something just to do it, you know. If I'm not really enjoying doing it, then I'm not going to do it. But it was, we did some good. We raised some money for, like I said, Habitat for Humanity, so that was cool. And now I got a big long chain that, yeah, someday in the future I'd like to come back to it, like I said, because it's a fun little piece. It's a cool thing to have. And I got this little one here, so yeah, that's that. Like I said, might have to relaunch that in the future, you know. Ooh. All right. Good seal. It's a spinning. So first things first, get it to round. And I've found the best thing is just to use the square chisel, square tool, and take literally like a 1/16 at a time, just drive it in, you know. Seems to be the quickest way to take material off. Let me raise this up a little bit. And we'll get it roughed in, and then we will turn up the speed a little bit, as that does help also to get a smoother cut. Let's see where we are. We are pretty round, so time to crank up the speed. Unplug, replug. Apologies about the audio. I'm trying to think while I'm doing this what is the issue, you know. I think it might be a setting in the streaming software I'm using that is not set correctly. Because when I unplugged the microphone, it still sounded like that through the native camera microphone. So it's not the microphone itself. kind of decide if I want to do a tenon. I usually do a mortise. This is walnut we're working with here. Black walnut to be specific. It's a nice dark wood. It's on the softer end of hardwood, so it's comparable to it's definitely softer than any oaks, so it's comparable to probably like poplar or sapele. It's kind of in that range of hardness. But it's on the softer side for sure. Makes for easier turning. So like I was saying, I'm not sure if I want to do a tenon and grab it with the, if you do a tenon, we can grab it and twist down on it, or we could just do a mortise and split open. I've been doing the mortises and I think I like that, but if we do the tenon, then we can kind of, I'm doing the, well, actually we have to do a mortise, or a tenon, sorry. We got to screw down on it because I do not have the front side of this screwed down to anything. It's just on that live, it's not that live center, but that spurred center. So we have to turn down a tenon that we can grab. Unfortunately, I mean, not a big deal, but that's just going to be how we have to do it. So let's start the shaping of this. I think we might take this down a good bit. We'll see. We get a size on this tenon we gotta make. Something in that neighborhood. Let me grab a pencil. Something like that size, and we can go bigger. So I think we might. So let me turn down this tenon here. We'll just kind of come in. We'll start with a little bite. Just see if that size we got is going to work with this chuck, or the jaws we got on it. It should, looks like it anyways. Yeah, I'm going to go slightly under. Ooh. Be careful there. This will be a little tricky for us because I can't move this live center. So we kind of have to work around that. Not a problem, I don't think. Just have to get a little creative. Switch over to our point tool. No way. Things are already stripped out. Cheaper tools, that's what you get. Hopefully it's this. Oh, that's the screws. Wonderful. So I don't want to go too far with this. I think we did go too far because it feels loose now. I'll just tighten that back up. There we go. Okay, back to our square tool. Switch back over to the round guy. Alright, we got a pretty basic bowl shape going on here. Just a little more refining on this edge. I think we're looking pretty good there. We'll move on to the sanding. See, actually let me cut the top of the bowl where we're going to have it. Just so we have that line established. So this is going to be more of a bowl. I was imagining a plate, but we're going to go with a bowl. Just the way I've been cutting this, I think it's going to be not really as easy for to go for a plate. Put that there, that out of the way. Let's get some sandpaper going. Turn this sander on there. And we'll get sand in here. Looking good. Ooh. That does not look that great. We're going to have to start back down on the grits. I thought we were cleaner than that. That's unfortunate. Go back to 100 on the drill. Check that. I think we still got a little more to go. Okay, there we go. I think it's close there. So we'll go back through. That was 100. It's in 180. Oh, I thought this just broke off. Check it. Pretty good. It's gonna go to 600. Throw some wax on it. Yeah, if you want to see more about that chain, I did some shorts on it. I put some onto YouTube. I need to get some paper towels. And there's also more than shorts on my Instagram. finish I've been using is just regular old paste wax, but I want to try beeswax. I'm pretty sure that's food safe. Paste wax is not food safe. It's a petroleum based wax. Looks good on furniture, and I mean, it looks good. It's just not, you definitely wouldn't want to put any food items in the bowl with this type of finish. And unlike a polyurethane that would dry, the wax is just a little different. I could be just making things up right now. I'm not totally sure. But for my own sake, I wouldn't want to eat out of a paste wax bowl. Which is why we'll try to find some beeswax. Alright. See how this looks. Not too bad. I think, I definitely, so I only went up to 600 that time, and on the other things I was going up to like, I had like 1,000 and 2,000, and I think it definitely, the wax is definitely a lot thinner on those. You can definitely tell it's pretty thick under here. So I'm just going to buff it a little more. If you're just joining us, we're turning a bowl right now. Apologies for the audio. It is currently messed up a little bit. It's not always like this, I promise. So there is the profile of the bowl. A little bit of a foot on it, so we can grab it later. Finish on the bottom of the foot is not great. That's why I like the mortise method, because you can really finish that well. Now if I had this screwed onto something instead of just on the center, I would be able to do that even with a tenon, but my current center thing is a homemade piece and the screws on it are quite long. So I didn't want it to get into the bowl like that, but you know, this will look all right. We'll just see how it sits on the table here. That's not great. It sits okay. For the most part, I'd say. So now we'll get the chuck back on the lathe. And turn yeah, I need a better spot for this stuff. We'll get the chuck back on the lathe and turn the inside of the bowl. Okay, got that going. Now we will turn this down. Oops, too much. I put blue tape on last time and we had a problem. Thank you, thank you. I think it's looking pretty good. 11 walnut for turning. I don't usually use it in any furniture stuff that I make, but for turning, it's turning nicely. So last week I put tape around the lid we were making around the handle, and so that the jaws of the chuck wouldn't mar up the wood, and we had a bit of a scare because it slipped off. So definitely don't want that to happen again. But I'm just going to cinch that down and not go too tight, and hopefully, okay, seems fine, and hopefully it won't mar it too bad. I mean, it's just the foot of it, so it's kind of the bottom. I don't know why we're doing that, because we're going to be turning the inside of the bowl. Slide that down there out of the way. We'll get a little zoom in maybe for you guys. Maybe. Focus on me, please. I think it is. Spin this around. Should hopefully go relatively quickly. You want to be slightly below center on the inside here. I want to scoot it back just a hair. Alright, let's turn this back on and get to going. That is not really spinning center. That's closer. Son of a gun. So that is marring that up, unfortunately. Just gotta take it slow. It keeps knocking it out. we're going to see where we're at. Walnut everywhere. Still got a decent amount on the bottom. We are pretty thin. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we go a little more. You can hear how thin that's getting up there. And I think we better stop before we get too carried away and break the bowl. And then we'll be upset. We're actually still pretty good. As I say, let's not get carried away. Stop and check. So we actually got a bump in the middle. Let's work that out. All right, on to sanding, I think. Yeah, on to sand. Oh. There goes the pulley. Hopefully everyone's okay. Alright, starting off with 120. I need to go 80, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 80. Check on that, still some tear out. Oops. Still a bit of tear out there. Oof. I think we're just gonna roll with it. Just for fun. We'll check it again. Okay, those look like our 120 line, so we're going to try and bring this guy back in. See what we got here. $240. Here's my 180. Okay. Getting my air filter turned on. Lots of dust in the air. Oops. So not that the wax really super hides any imperfections, but makes them less noticeable. Ooh, that looks lovely. Make sure we get it in all the grain. Okay. That'll do. That'll do. So unfortunately we did scratch the bottom a little bit. But it is just a foot, and we could cut that off, you know, but there it is. Nice walnut bowl. Pretty thin edges. We were able to get it down pretty thin without much of an issue. Paste wax finish. Nice and easy. So, what time is it? Bit of a shorter stream today. But, yeah. Here it is. It'd be nice to cut that foot off. I gotta work out a way to do that on the bandsaw, maybe, or it'd be nice to mount it back this way and turn that foot off, but I'm not sure how exactly we would do that. Ugh, it smells like paste wax. Thank you, appreciate it. I think, yeah, came out decent, except the underside, but who looks at the underside anyways, you know? It's the top side that counts. So yeah, a bit of a short stream today. We'll be back next Tuesday and doing the giveaway. I've had a couple other live stream ideas in my head going on. One of which being we have a contest. Basically, you guys send in projects you've built, you've made. We will compare on stream and pick a best project and send out. Which you could do like. You know, Amazon gift cards or something like that. Just a nice friendly competition between the community here. So that's something we may do in the near future, in addition to the Turning Tuesdays. And like I said, content's just been backed up. It's been a week. It's been quite hectic lately. So trying to get all that done. Definitely have some, not issues, just it's a challenge sometimes. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday, and we'll be doing the giveaway, and then more live streams to come after that. So again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support here on YouTube and Twitch. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing, all that stuff. I really appreciate everybody here. So thank you so much again, and looking forward to next week, and we'll see y'all later.